A concise overview of the Comanche tribe's history reveals significant developments in American history. At one point, Spanish expansion to the north came to a halt, coinciding with the French ceasing their westward movement from Louisiana. This stagnation was largely due to the influence of the Comanche tribe, which delayed U.S. governmental efforts to establish control over Texas and other plain states for approximately 40 years. Originally, the Comanches were part of the Shoshone tribe, sharing a common language and residing in the Great Basin area of the western United States as hunters and gatherers. However, during the late 17th century, the acquisition of horses transformed their way of life. This pivotal change enabled the Comanches to become a mounted and formidable society, enhancing their mobility and allowing them to depart from their mountainous homeland and Shoshone neighbors to settle on the plains of eastern Colorado and western Kansas. Upon reaching the Great Plains, the Comanches initiated a migration southward, discovering a more temperate climate abundant with buffalo and Mustang horses, an ideal setting for their lifestyle. Throughout this journey, they engaged in trade with the French, particularly exchanging goods for firearms and ammunition, as well as with the Wichita tribe along the Red River. They faced competition from better-armed tribes to the north and east, such as the Blackfoot and the Crow. Consequently, a vast region of the South Plains, encompassing much of northern, central, and western Texas, became known as Comanche territory or Comancheria. It was only after their settlement in the southern plains that the tribe adopted the name Comanche, derived from the Ute term meaning enemy or one who wishes to fight. While they are historically recognized as Comanches, the tribe referred to themselves as Nemina, meaning the people. The Comanche society was structured into independent bands. Bands were composed of families. Upon marriage, a man would leave his own family to join that of his wife. The buffalo played a vital role for the Comanche people, serving not only as a source of food, but also providing materials for clothing and shelter. However, it was the horse that truly characterized the Comanche lifestyle. The horse enabled them to pursue buffalo herds and offered significant advantages in hunting and warfare while mounted. Additionally, horses became a symbol of wealth among the Comanche and a key item for trade, as they were recognized as skilled traders. The Comanche excelled in horsemanship, with children learning to ride at a young age, and both men and women honing remarkable riding abilities. The Comanche political structure was deeply rooted in democratic principles. Each band was led by both civil or peace chiefs and war chiefs, with the head civil chief traditionally holding the most influence. Leaders were selected by the consensus of band members. In the early 18th century, as the Comanche migrated into Texas, they encountered existing tribes on the South Plains, notably the Apaches. The Comanche emerged victorious in these confrontations, compelling the Apaches to retreat southward. In 1758, a coalition of approximately 2,000 Comanches and allied tribes launched an assault on a Spanish mission established for the Apaches along the San Saba River. The mission was looted and set ablaze, resulting in the deaths of 8 individuals, including 2 priests. The following year, a Spanish expedition led by Colonel Diego Ortiz Parilla faced defeat at the hands of the Comanche and their allies in a protracted battle along the Red River, near the location of the current Spanish fort. Unable to overcome the Comanche, the Spanish sought to establish peace treaties in the ensuing decades. With the Apaches continuing to pose a threat, the adherence to these treaties varied. In 1785, Spanish officials journeyed to Comancheria to negotiate peace, offering gifts and promises that were upheld until the century's end. At this point in time, it is estimated that the tribe's population ranged from 20,000 to 40,000 individuals. As Spanish influence diminished in the early 19th century, officials struggled to provide the promised gifts and trade items, leading to a resurgence of Comanche hostilities. The Comanches launched raids deep into Spanish territory, seizing horses and goods that they later sold to traders coming into Texas from the United States. These American traders supplied the Comanches with various trade items, including weapons and ammunition, while also creating a robust market for Comanche horses. In 1821, Mexico achieved independence from Spain, but this political shift had minimal effect on Comancheria. Mexican authorities began to encourage tribes such as the Shawnees and Cherokees to attack the Comanches. The Mexican colonization law of 1824 promoted foreign immigration to Texas, resulting in a significant influx of settlers from the United States. The amicable relations established through beneficial trade began to deteriorate as these new settlers encroached upon lands that the Comanches regarded as their traditional hunting grounds, leading to hostilities between the two groups. By the time Texas declared its independence from Mexico in 1836, the Comanches and their allies maintained complete control over the Texas plains, frequently raiding frontier settlements. During one such raid, they captured a 9-year-old girl who would later assimilate into the tribe. This girl would eventually become the mother of Quanah Parker, the renowned last chief of the Comanche. Sam Houston, the first elected president of the Republic of Texas, advocated for a policy of peace. The Texas Congress declined to accept the sole Comanche condition for peace, which was the establishment of a boundary line between Texas and Comancheria, leading to the rejection of the proposed policy. Mirabeau Villamar, who succeeded Houston as president, was skeptical of achieving peace with the Native Americans and advocated for military action against the Comanches. This stance resulted in the Council House fight, a tragic event that took place in San Antonio during the spring of 1840, when Texas officials attempted to apprehend a Comanche peace delegation. The situation escalated into violence, resulting in the deaths of 35 Comanches, including 12 chiefs. The remaining 30 Comanches, mostly women and children, were captured by Texan forces. Additionally, 7 Texans lost their lives in the conflict, with 8 others sustaining injuries. In retaliation, a few months later, the Comanches launched a raid led by Buffalo Hump, comprising approximately 500 warriors. They ravaged South Texas, attacking the towns of Victoria and Linville, killing 25 Texans and destroying settlements. On their return north, they were confronted by Texan forces at Plum Creek. The Texas Rangers successfully defeated the Comanches, incurring 11 casualties, while the exact number of native fatalities remains unknown, although the Rangers reported recovering 12 bodies. In October, Texan forces destroyed a Comanche camp near what is now Colorado City. The Comanches retreated beyond the Red River, allowing Texans to effectively push them away from the Texas borders, albeit at a significant cost to both parties. Despite Sam Houston's return to the presidency in 1841 and his efforts to reinstate a peace policy, lasting peace was never realized. Texas was annexed to the Union in 1845, and the administration of Texas Indian Affairs was subsequently assumed by the United States government. In 1854, 2 reservations were created in Texas to safeguard both settlers and Native Americans. Approximately 350 Comanches, whose community had been significantly diminished due to warfare, disease outbreaks, and the decline of buffalo populations, relocated to these reservations. Meanwhile, other Comanche groups continued to roam the plains freely. As the Civil War left the frontier vulnerable, raids increased. However, following the war, the federal government reinstated frontier defenses and resumed treaty negotiations with the Plains tribes. These treaties aimed to facilitate settlement in the region by confining nomadic tribes to reservations. The 1867 Treaty of Medicine Lodge Creek, the final agreement with the Comanches, established a reservation for the Comanches, Kiowas, and Kiowa Apaches in the southwestern Indian Territory, situated between the Washita and Red Rivers. Witnessing the rapid decline of their traditional way of life, the Comanches refused to submit and sought guidance from a young medicine man named White Eagle. In the spring of 1874, he assured them of victory against the settlers. A prominent war chief, Quanah Parker, also played a crucial role in rallying the resisting Comanches. Motivated by their visionary leader, the warriors launched an assault on buffalo hunters at Adobe Walls in Hutchinson County. The Comanches, along with the Kiowas and Cheyennes, targeted hunters who were utilizing an abandoned fort to pursue buffalo for their hides. Despite being heavily outnumbered, the hunters managed to repel the attack due to the fort's defenses and the long-range rifles at their disposal. This defeat shattered the natives' confidence and prompted retaliation from the U.S. government. That same year, the Army initiated a relentless campaign known as the Red River War, aimed at forcing all Native Americans onto reservations. Colonel Ronald S. Mackenzie led forces that unexpectedly attacked the Comanche camp in Palo Duro Canyon, resulting in the destruction of their horse herd. Forces led by Colonel Ronald S. Mackenzie launched a surprise attack on the Comanche camp, located in Palo Duro Canyon, resulting in the destruction of their horse herd. Although few Comanche warriors were killed during the confrontations, the devastation of their supplies left them unable to endure the winter on the plains, compelling them to relocate to the reservation. Quanah Parker's faction managed to resist on the Staked Plains for nearly a year before ultimately surrendering, marking them as the last group of free Comanches to be confined to the reservation. Once numbering in the tens of thousands, the Comanche population had dwindled to approximately 1,600 by 1875. They were relocated to the Fort Sill Reservation, where they shared the land with the Kiowa and Apache tribes. Life on the reservation presented a stark contrast as the government sought to convert the traditional hunters and warriors into farmers and ranchers. The cultural values and beliefs of the Comanche faced relentless challenges as they were urged to adopt the customs of white settlers. The reservation era concluded in 1901 with the dissolution of the reservation boundaries. Under the terms of the Jerome Agreement signed between the U.S. government and the Kiowa, Comanche, and Apache tribes, each individual was allocated 160 acres of land, with additional areas designated for churches, agencies, and schools. In exchange, the native tribes relinquished all their lands except for 4 parcels totaling over 500,000 acres, or 862 square miles, and accepted $2 million for the land surrendered. Comanche leaders raised objections to the allotment on various grounds, but the federal government upheld the agreement. Lands not allocated to the natives were open to the public, leading to a significant increase in the white population on the former reservation. As time went on, many Comanches began to disperse in search of economic opportunities, with numerous individuals leaving to find employment. The onset of World War II saw many Comanches enlist in the military and secure jobs in the defense sector. Comanches were one of several tribes that played a significant role in the war effort by utilizing their language as an unbreakable code, which the Germans were unable to decipher. A total of 17 Comanche code talkers were involved in this endeavor. In the 1960s, spurred by a revival of native nationalism, the Comanche people began to unite in efforts to restore their community. This movement led to significant political transformations, culminating in the establishment of their own tribal government located near Lawton, Oklahoma. Currently, the Comanche Nation comprises approximately 16,000 tribal members, with nearly 8,000 residing in southwest Oklahoma. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to our channel.